Japan has lots of hot springs called onsen in Japanese. You can find a variety of hot springs across the country, and the island, especially filled with the hot springs, is Kyushu. The island, also known for active volcanoes, shows lots of dynamic scenery for travelers, and the surrounding ocean brings lots of seafood to the dinner table. Today I'd like to show you the two different types of hot springs in, one in the mountain, one by the ocean, with the scenery of Kyushu. Japan has 47 prefectures, and Kyushu has 7 of them. If you visit by Shinkansen or using rail passes, probably you enter from Fukuoka in the north, which is connected to the Japan's main island Honshu by the bridge and tunnel. Fukuoka has the largest city, Fukuoka, and another popular city as a travel destination in Kyushu is Nagasaki. In addition to those major cities, the island is also a home for active volcanoes such as Aso in Kumamoto and Sakurajima in Kagoshima. But that means Kyushu is also blessed with nature, and what you can enjoy is hot springs. On this trip, I chose Oita and Kumamoto for our 2 nice trip destination. I usually try to use public transportation for this channel because this is what almost all international travelers has access to. But I took my mother who has light mobility issue, so I got a rental car this time. Now let's fly to Kyushu. You can travel to Kyushu by Shinkansen or trains, but when you use rental car, it might be easier just to fly. Each 7 prefectures in Kyushu has 1 or 2 airports that has flights from Tokyo. I took this Solaseed Air this time from Haneda Airport and flew to Oita Airport. Solaseed Air is a small airline company that code-share with ANA, and they have flights mostly from Tokyo to Kyushu and Okinawa. I flew over Lake Biwa, Seto Inland Sea, Hiroshima, and landing Oita Airport now. In this trip, from Oita Airport, I drove to a hot spring near Yufuin Hot Springs, and next day I drove to Amakusa in Kumamoto and returned from Kumamoto Airport to Tokyo. In Kyushu, it seems budget rental car is popular. It was about 20,000 yen for 3 days, including the fee to drop off at a different destination and full coverage of insurance. When you rent a car in English, you can go to their website or portal site like Tabirai, where you can compare prices. When you drive a car in Japan, it depends on your country, but most of the cases you need to get an international driver's license. For example, in the United States, you can go to AAA office and get it for $50. They give it to you right there. Please be very careful when you drive in Japan because you need to drive the left side in Japan. First, I dropped by the beach near the airport. The beach is in front of the shrine called Nadagu and facing Seto Inland Sea. I could see Shikoku Island across the channel. So this is a channel between Shikoku and Kyushu. On the way to Beppu, I dropped by the little drive-in by the Beppu Bay to eat light lunch. I got some local sushi, so let's eat here. Next, I headed to Beppu Hot Springs. Beppu is one of the most famous hot springs resort in Japan, and you can stay in one of the hotels and enjoy bathing. Also, you can enjoy the site called Jigoku, which means the hell in Japanese. This Jigoku are sites where you can see hot springs coming out of the ground. The ticket was 450 yen to enter each Jigoku and 2,200 yen for the pass to enter all 7 Jigoku. I purchased pass and went on all of them. If you don't have time to go to everything, maybe you can go 1 or 2 in the same area. My favorite was Umi Jigoku and Onibozu Jigoku. Now I decided to head to the ryokan that I had a reservation today. It's in the deep mountain near Yufuin Hot Springs, almost border with Kumamoto Prefecture. The scenery, Going there was so beautiful with view of Mount Yufu and Kyushu mountains. I made a little mistake here that I underestimated the time it takes to the ryokan. I ended up arriving the ryokan before 5 p.m. to stop at scenic points on the way and to have enough time to enjoy onsen before dinner. I could arrive a little more earlier. If winter, it could also be dark in the mountain, so it's always better to make sure you arrive before it gets dark. As soon as I parked the car, the ryokan person came to the car and greeted us, guided us to the room. And it was about 40,000 yen, which is about $280 for a night for 2 guests, including 2 meals. The ryokan is a member of Hito o Mamoru Kai, which means preserving hidden hot springs in Japan. The ryokan has a private bath in each room, which is a natural hot springs. There are many hotels and ryokans with private baths recently, but it's so difficult to find one with natural hot springs in the room. They have public baths for everyone, but they also have 4 private baths. 2 of them are outside, and you can use them anytime when it's open. No need for reservation or no charge for it. It was really nice feeling. The water is clear and not much smell of hot springs, so if you like white water with lots of sulfur, it might not satisfying enough for you, but when it comes to the quality of the facility and the hot springs, probably this is one of the best in the whole Japan. Gensen kakenagashi means the natural hot springs water coming out from the ground all the time. In this place, they don't reuse water or heat the water. They only cool down the natural hot spring water to the right temperature so we can go in. The dinner was in the private room. The food was mainly from the local mountain. If you are not sure if you can eat the Japanese food, I recommend you to purchase bread or anything you can eat before you enter the mountain, because I couldn't find any convenience store until the next day. The Japanese breakfast was also served in the private room. Next day is the day going to Kumamoto. Before leaving Oita, we dropped by the Kokonoe Yume Bridge near the hotel. This Kokonoe Yume Bridge is a suspension bridge that spans the scenic valley of the Naruko Gorge. It's one of the highest pedestrian suspension bridges in Japan that stretches 390 meters length, which is 1,280 feet, and 173 meters above the gorge, which is 568 feet. The bridge offers breathtaking panoramic view of the surrounding mountains and falls. I have to drive all the way to the other side of the island today, but too many spots with good view on the way. I honestly don't recommend to follow the same route for someone driving in Japan for the first time. You can enjoy so much more if you keep the driving a little more shorter per day. Now I entered Kumamoto Prefecture. I found an old-fashioned cute drive-in with gas station. It was interesting that everything in the store changed to the products from Kumamoto and nothing from Oita anymore. I got this bread made with milk. What was also it's really good. Kumamoto is famous for active volcano Mount Aso. As I drive, I start to see the smoke of Mount Aso. Let's go as closer as possible. Next, I dropped by another drive-in in Aso. This kind of drive-in is called Michino Eki, which means roadside station. Developed by Japanese government to provide rest area along the major roads for drivers. It usually sells some local farm products and something to eat. In front of this, I saw a train called Asoboy. You can get on this with JR Pass and JR Kyushu Pass. After that, I dropped by Aso Mountains. Mount Aso is known for very active volcano. You can enjoy the dynamic volcanic scenery in the field. It's called Kusasendi. I didn't have time to walk around this field today, so I just enjoy the view from here. And now I really have to go to our ryokan in Amakusa. Amakusa is an area in the east of Kumamoto that numerous small islands makes beautiful coastal scenery. The reason travelers come here is for the sight, hot springs, and the seafoods. So after a long drive, I finally arrived, but I realized I made a big mistake. It's 100% my fault, but I booked the most reasonable room, believing all rooms are facing ocean and non-smoking. But it was smoking room and the roof view of the hotel. I was quite shocked, but the hotel person kindly offered the change of the room for 8,000 yen. So I immediately said yes. And I got a room with amazing view of quiet coastal scenery of Amakusa. They have a public bath in the upstairs and you can see the sunset from the bath or in your room. My favorite moment was the early morning. Seeing the fishing boat goes by between islands on quiet surface of the ocean from the outdoor bath was a moment of life that we had to have time to time. The food was amazing with lots of seafoods. It has lots of raw fish, sashimi, and boiled octopus. Everything was amazing. But that also means if you cannot eat seafood, you might like the food at the mountain onsen more. For my mother, having a great dinner exceeded the experience of having a private onsen bath in the room. And she's still talking about how great the food was at Amakusa. This place also has a room with private bath in the room. Next day, I drove back to Kumamoto airport, that is near Mount Aso. On the way, I could see Mount Unzen of Nagasaki across the Ariake Bay, which is also an active volcano. The airport was just renewed and has lots of shops. If you are interested in shopping souvenirs from Kumamoto and eat something local foods, you might want to come early to the airport. Kyushu offers lots of different scenery from city to ocean and volcanoes. I made some mistakes in this trip. Some of them are something I could avoid with some more attention and time to preparation. But I'm happy with the choice of ryokans. I was always not sure about this character of Kumamoto called Kumamo, but now I like it after visiting Kumamoto. I hope you liked the Kyushu. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great trip to Japan. Have a great week until the next video.